Ladies and gentlemen, I want to speak to you today about something that we all struggle with at some point in our lives: worry. The weight of uncertainty, the fear of the unknown, the pressure of trying to control things that are beyond our ability to control. But I have come here today to share with you a message of hope, a message that speaks to the very heart of our faith. You see, God is not just a distant figure. He is not a silent observer. He is the creator of the universe, the one who holds every moment in his hands. And he has a purpose for each one of us, a purpose that at times we cannot fully understand, but a purpose that is always good. Know many of you are facing challenges today. Maybe you're standing at a crossroads in your life, unsure of which path to take. Perhaps you're facing a closed door, a door that seems locked with no way forward. Or maybe you're overwhelmed by the weight of your responsibilities, feeling as though there is no hope, no way out. You might feel like you've knocked on every door, but none of them are opening. But let me tell you this, God has a door for you. It might not look like the door you expected. It might not come in the way you imagined. But I promise you, God will open the right door at the right time. Remember, God's timing is always perfect. Sometimes we rush, we worry, we fret because we want things now. We want to solve our problems. We want to see the way ahead. But God asks us to trust him, to wait upon him, and to know that he will open the right door when the time is right. The Bible tells us in the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 80, I have set before you an open door, which no one is able to shut. What a beautiful promise! When God opens a door, no one can close it. And when God closes a door, no one can force it open. He knows what's best for you. He sees the bigger picture that we cannot always understand. You may wonder, but how can I trust God in this moment? What if the door I want to open never opens? My friends, I want to remind you today that God is faithful. He is good and he loves you with an everlasting love. His plan for your life is far greater than anything you can imagine. He doesn't want you to worry. He wants you to trust him. There may be times when doors close in your life, when dreams are deferred and plans are interrupted. But even in those moments, trust that God is working behind the scenes. He's not saying no. He's simply saying, not yet, or I have something better. And when he opens that door for you, when he brings you to the right place at the right time, you will look back and see his hand at work in ways you never expected. So today, I say to you, don't worry. Don't allow the uncertainty of tomorrow to steal the peace of today. Keep knocking, keep trusting, keep praying. Because the God who holds the stars in place and the winds in their course is the same God who knows your every need, your every desire. And he is faithful. Trust in him. Wait on him. And know this God will open the right door, so don't worry. God bless you. Live in a world filled with uncertainty and anxiety, where the pressures of life often make us question our direction, our purpose, and our future. Every day we face decisions that seem overwhelming, challenges that feel insurmountable, and circumstances that feel beyond our control. In these moments, it's easy to become consumed by worry. We worry about the choices we have to make, the paths we must take, and the doors that seem either locked or shut in our faces. We can become anxious, wondering if we're making the right decisions, if we're headed down the correct road, or if we'll ever find the opportunity we seek. But today, I want to share with you a truth that has the power to bring peace to your soul. God will open the right door. So don't worry. It's natural to feel anxious about the unknown. We are human, and the desire to understand, to control, and to foresee what lies ahead is a part of our nature. We want to know where we are going, when we'll get there, and what we'll face along the way. And yet, the journey of life often requires us to trust in something greater than ourselves, something we cannot always see, but something we can always rely on: God's plan. We may not always understand why certain doors remain closed, or why some doors open to reveal new challenges, but we can trust that God knows exactly what he's doing. He sees the bigger picture, one that is beyond our understanding and beyond our ability to plan. One of the most powerful aspects of faith is learning to trust in God's timing. We often want things to happen now. We are living in a fast-paced world, and our culture tells us that we need to move quickly, make decisions immediately, and seize every opportunity at the earliest moment. But God's timing is not like ours. God's timing is perfect. There are moments in life when we might feel like we're standing still, waiting for a door to open, for a new opportunity to come, or for a change to occur. In these moments, it's easy to become frustrated, to feel like we're stuck, or to begin doubting if God is even listening to our prayers. But what we must remember is that God knows exactly when the right time is. He knows when we're ready. Even when we feel unprepared, He knows when to open a door and when to leave it closed for our protection, our growth, or our betterment. In the waiting, God is working. He is preparing us for what lies ahead, even when we can't see it. There are times when we may feel like we've been knocked down or held back, but those moments are not signs of defeat. They are part of the process, part of the journey where God is shaping us, refining us, and making us ready for the door that He will open. It is often said that when one door closes, another one opens. And while this may sound like a cliché, it holds a deeper truth. God doesn't just close doors arbitrarily or without purpose. When a door closes, it means that He is guiding us to something better, to something that is in line with His will for our lives. We may not see it at first, but God is not bound by our limited understanding of what is best for us. He knows what we need before we even ask. And when He closes a door, it's not because He wants to hurt us or deny us, but because He has a better plan in mind. In the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 8, the Bible says, "I have set before you an open door, which no one is able to shut." This is a powerful statement of God's sovereignty and His authority over every aspect of our lives. When God opens a door, no one can shut it. No one can take away the opportunities He has for us. No person, no circumstance, no power can stand in the way of the doors that God opens in our lives. But the key here is that it is God who opens the door, not us. We don't need to force our way into opportunities. We don't need to try to push doors open on our own. When the time is right, God will open the door, and no one can stop it. For many of us, the idea of waiting for God to open a door can be challenging. We live in a world that encourages us to act quickly, to seize opportunities, and to make things happen. But God's ways are not our ways. Sometimes He asks us to wait, to be patient, and to trust Him in the waiting. There are seasons in life where the door seems to be shut tight, and we can't see any way forward. But those are the moments when God is preparing us, refining us, and aligning us with His will. He is teaching us trust, patience, and obedience. He's helping us understand that we are not in control, but that He is. When we finally see that door open, we will realize that the waiting was not in vain. We will see how God was working behind the scenes, orchestrating everything for our good. What may have seemed like a delay or a detour was actually part of the greater plan. And in those moments, we will be able to look back and say with confidence, God's timing was perfect. We will see that He knew exactly what we needed, exactly when we needed it, and He provided for us in ways we never could have imagined. So, what should we do in the meantime? While we wait for God to open the right door, we must keep our eyes on Him. We must keep trusting in His promises and keep living out our faith. We should continue to seek His guidance through prayer, knowing that He hears us and cares for us. We should remain faithful, knowing that even in times of uncertainty, God is working on our behalf. We must not allow worry to take root in our hearts. Worry only leads to frustration, anxiety, and doubt. Instead, we must trust that God will open the right door at the right time. And when that door finally opens, we must walk through it with faith, courage, and gratitude. We may not always understand where the door will lead, but we can trust that God is guiding us every step of the way. And as we walk through those doors, we will find that God has already gone before us, preparing the path, providing what we need, and leading us toward His perfect will. So, my friends, don't worry. Trust in God. Wait for Him to open the right door for you. And know that when He does, it will be exactly what you need at exactly the right time. Let go of your anxiety. Let go of your fears and let God lead you. His plans for you are far greater than anything you could ever imagine, and His timing is always perfect. God will open the right door, so don't worry. Keep trusting, keep waiting, and know that He is faithful. We all face moments in life when the uncertainty of what lies ahead feels overwhelming. The doors of opportunity may seem shut and the road before us unclear. In those times, it's easy to let worry take over, to begin questioning every decision, doubting our direction. or feeling as if we're stuck in a place we can't escape. The questions swirl, am I making the right choices? What if I'm missing something? What if the door I'm waiting for never opens? But, my friends, this is where faith enters. Because there is a truth that we must cling to in those moments of uncertainty. God is faithful and He will open the right door at the right time. We are often in a hurry to see results, to reach the next milestone, or to fulfill our deepest desires. And yet, the pace of our world is not the pace of God's perfect timing. It's easy to forget that God is not bound by the same constraints of time and space that we are. He is outside of time. He knows the beginning from the end, and He sees our lives from a perspective we cannot fully comprehend. The doors that He opens in our lives are not random, nor are they a result of luck. They are a part of His divine plan for us, carefully timed and strategically placed along our journey. It's in those moments of uncertainty, when the doors are closed and we don't know where to turn, that we must remember the truth of God's sovereignty. He opens the doors that need to be opened, and He closes the ones that are not in alignment with His plan for us. This is a truth that we need to learn to trust with all our hearts. There are times in life when we believe that a certain opportunity is the one, the door that will lead us to success or happiness. And when that door doesn't open, it's tempting to feel rejected or defeated. But we must understand that closed doors are not the end. They are often simply God's way of redirecting us, keeping us from paths that may seem right to us but are not part of His greater plan. When one door closes, it may be a sign that God is preparing another one, a better one that is aligned with the plans He has for our lives. He is not withholding from us, but rather guiding us towards something greater. This is not always easy to understand in the moment. We may feel frustrated, confused, or even lost. But in those moments of uncertainty, it's essential to hold fast to the promise that God has a purpose. He sees what lies ahead, and He is always working for our good, even when we can't see it. In the waiting, God is doing a work in us that we may not fully understand. He is teaching us patience, strengthening our faith, and refining our character. It's in those times of waiting and trusting that we often grow the most. God doesn't waste a single moment of our lives. Every experience, every closed door, every delay is part of the process of shaping us into the people He created us to be. And when the right door opens, we will be ready. We will have the faith, the resilience, and the trust to walk through it with confidence, knowing that it is His will and His timing that has brought us to that point. There is a reason why the Bible encourages us not to worry. It's because worry only steals our peace and our joy. Worry leads us to a place of fear where we focus on the obstacles rather than the one who is able to overcome them. Jesus Himself tells us not to worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Matthew 6:34. Instead, He calls us to trust in Him, to lean on Him, and to have confidence that He will provide for our needs. When we focus on God's promises and trust that He is in control, worry begins to lose its grip on our hearts. When we face an uncertain future, it's important to remind ourselves that God knows what we need, and He knows when we need it. Sometimes we think that the doors we are trying to open are the ones that will bring us the happiness, fulfillment, or success we desire. But God sees the bigger picture. He knows what is best for us, even when we cannot see it. The doors He opens for us are not just about getting what we want. They are about us becoming who He created us to be. And sometimes that means waiting for the right door to open at the right time, even when we don't fully understand why the door is closed. This trust in God's timing doesn't mean we sit idly by and do nothing. It means we take active steps of faith, knowing that God will lead us. We pray, seek His guidance, and follow where He leads, knowing that if the door isn't opening, it's either not the right time or not the right door. We trust that God's plan for us is good and that He will lead us to the right place at the right moment. So, if you're in a season of waiting, if you're facing closed doors or feeling uncertain about the future, I encourage you to trust in God. He will open the right door at the right time. Don't allow worry to take root in your heart. Don't become disheartened or lose faith when the doors don't seem to open as quickly as you hoped. God is at work, even in the waiting. He is preparing you for something greater, and His timing is always perfect. The doors that God opens are not just opportunities, they are pathways to greater fulfillment, deeper purpose, and more meaningful growth. And when those doors open, you will walk through them with the confidence that you are not walking alone. God is with you every step of the way. So trust Him, trust His timing, and know that He will open the right door for you. A door that no one can shut. As you move forward in faith, don't look at the closed doors with regret or disappointment. Instead, look forward with hope, knowing that God is preparing a way. He will open the door when the time is right, and He will give you the strength and wisdom to walk through it. You don't need to worry, because your Father knows exactly what you need. Keep trusting, keep waiting, and when the door opens, step forward. There are few feelings as overwhelming as standing at the threshold of uncertainty. Whether it's the uncertainty of a decision, a change in your life, or a future that seems unclear, these moments are filled with the weight of doubt and worry. The questions often start to swirl around in our minds. Will the door open? What if it doesn't? What if I'm making the wrong choice? What if I don't find the opportunity I'm looking for? These doubts and anxieties can easily paralyze us, making it hard to move forward. But the truth that we must hold on to in these moments is simple yet powerful. God will open the right door, so don't worry. Life, in all its beauty and complexity, often feels like a journey of doors. Doors that open, doors that close, and doors that seem locked or out of our reach. It's tempting to see these doors as obstacles, as things that either hold us back or prevent us from reaching the life we envision for ourselves. But God's view of these doors is far different. He is not just watching us from afar, observing us struggle to find the right path. He is involved, guiding us in ways we may not always recognize. He knows when we are ready for the next step, and He knows exactly which doors to open in our lives at just the right time. The first thing we need to understand is that God's timing is not the same as ours. We live in a world that values immediacy, quick decisions, and fast results. We are taught to act quickly, to seize every opportunity, to keep pushing forward no matter what. But God's timing is perfect. His timing isn't bound by the pressure to make it happen now. In fact, there are moments when He asks us to wait. He asks us to trust that when the right door opens, it will be the perfect fit, and it will happen when we are prepared for it. Not a moment too soon and not a moment too late. We may not understand why some doors seem to remain closed for longer than we think we can bear. We may wonder why it feels like we've been knocking for so long without any sign that God is even listening. But I want to remind you today that closed doors are not signs of rejection. They are signs of redirection. God is guiding us to the right place at the right time, and sometimes that requires a delay, a closed door, or a different path than the one we imagined. This is why faith is such an essential part of the journey. When we trust that God knows what is best for us, even when we can't see the way forward, we begin to let go of our need for control and allow Him to lead us. The second thing to understand is that God will always open the right door. It may not be the door we expect. It may not be the opportunity we thought we wanted. But when God opens a door, He opens it with purpose and intention. Think about the people in Scripture who had to trust God to open the right doors for them. Abraham had to wait many years before seeing the promise of his descendants fulfilled. Joseph was betrayed by his brothers and thrown into prison before God elevated him to a position of power in Egypt. David was anointed as king, but it was years before he actually sat on the throne. Each of these individuals had to endure seasons of uncertainty, waiting, and trusting that God was in control. God's promises are true, and when He opens a door for us, no one can shut it. The Bible tells us in Revelation 3:8, "I have set before you an open door that no one can shut." That is a profound statement. If God opens a door for you, nothing can stand in your way. No human being, no force, no circumstance can close the door that God has opened. But this also means that if a door is closed, we can trust that God is in control of that too. He may be protecting us from something that we can't yet understand. He may be preparing us for something better, something greater. The closed door is not the end of the story. It's simply part of the process that God uses to get us to where we need to be. The key here is to learn to trust in God's sovereignty, He is in control. We often find ourselves in situations where we try to force doors open, push ourselves into opportunities, or create our own path. But when we do that, we risk stepping outside of God's plan. When we stop striving and trust that God will open the right doors, we enter a place of peace. We stop worrying about whether the door will open because we know it will open at the right time, in the right way, for the right reasons. This kind of trust leads to freedom. It frees us from the burden of worrying about the future and allows us to focus on being faithful in the present. Finally, we need to recognize that our journey is not just about reaching the right door, it's about growing through the process. While we wait for God to open doors, we must remember that He is also doing a work in us. He is shaping our character, refining our faith, and teaching us to rely on Him. There is something powerful that happens in the waiting. It's in the waiting that we learn to trust, to pray, and to grow. Our faith is tested and strengthened as we hold on to the hope that the door we are waiting for will indeed open when the time is right. In the meantime, God is building in us the resilience, patience, and wisdom that will prepare us for what's ahead. Waiting on God doesn't mean being passive. It means being active in our trust. It means continuing to move forward, doing the things we can do, while trusting God with what we cannot control. It means being faithful in the little things, knowing that God sees us and is working for our good. And when that door finally opens, we will walk through it with a new level of faith, knowing that God has been with us every step of the way. So, if you are standing before a closed door today, don't be discouraged. Don't give in to worry or doubt. Remember that God has a perfect plan for you, and He will open the right door at the right time. He is not withholding from you, but guiding you towards something better. Trust in His timing, trust in His sovereignty, and trust that when the door opens, it will be exactly what you need. God will open the right door, so don't worry. Your journey is in His hands, and His plan for you is greater than anything you could imagine. Keep trusting, keep waiting, and know that He is faithful. With confidence, knowing it's part of God's perfect plan for your life. Remember, you don't have to force the door open, and you don't have to worry about the future. God will open the right door, and He will do it at just the right time. In life, we often find ourselves facing moments of great uncertainty, filled with unanswered questions and a deep sense of unease. These are the times when we feel as though we're standing before a closed door, unsure of what's on the other side and uncertain of how to proceed. We wonder, when will the door open? Will it open for me? Am I even heading in the right direction? These are questions we all ask at some point as we navigate the twists and turns of life. But there's a truth we must hold on to. God will open the right door, so don't worry. One of the most comforting aspects of faith is the reassurance that we do not walk alone through the valleys of uncertainty. God knows the path ahead, even when we cannot see it. He is not surprised by the closed doors or the setbacks we face. In fact, He is sovereign over all things, including the doors that open and close in our lives. He has a perfect plan for each of us, one that is unfolding according to His will and His timing. When we find ourselves staring at a closed door, we are often tempted to fret or worry, to wonder why it hasn't opened yet. But we need to remember that God's timing is always right. His timing is never early and it's never late. It's always perfect. God's timing is often different from ours. In the world we live in, there is a sense of urgency and impatience. We want things to happen now. We want answers immediately. But God, in His wisdom, knows that sometimes we need to wait. Waiting doesn't mean God has forgotten about us or is not listening to our prayers. Waiting is part of the process that shapes us and prepares us for the doors that are meant to open in our lives. The waiting period is a season of growth, of trusting, and of learning to rely on God's guidance. The door may not open right away, but in the waiting, God is doing something in us. He's refining our character, increasing our patience, and building our faith. There's a saying that goes, "Good things come to those who wait." Well, with God, we can say that the best things come to those who trust Him in the waiting. He uses those moments to strengthen us, to help us grow in ways that we might not even realize until later on. It's easy to grow anxious during these seasons of waiting, especially when we don't know how long the wait will be. But this is where we must lean into our trust in God's wisdom. He sees the bigger picture. We only see a small piece of the puzzle, but God sees the entire picture, past, present, and future. He knows exactly when to open the right door and when to keep it closed. When we trust in God's wisdom, we let go of the need to control the situation. We stop trying to force doors open that are not meant for us. Instead, we can rest in the assurance that God is in control and that the door that is meant for us will open in His perfect timing. Another important thing to understand is that God doesn't just open doors for the sake of opening them. He opens doors with purpose. God opens the right doors at the right time because He knows what is best for us. When we trust in His guidance, we trust that He is leading us to opportunities that align with His will for our lives. Sometimes, we may feel like we've found the perfect door, the perfect opportunity, only for it to close. And in those moments, it can be difficult not to feel discouraged. But we must remember that closed doors are not a sign of failure. They are an indication that God has something better in store for us. Just because a door doesn't open the way we expected doesn't mean that we are being denied. It simply means that God is redirecting us, guiding us towards something that will bring greater fulfillment, greater purpose, and greater joy. God doesn't just open doors for our benefit, He opens them for His glory. When we walk through the doors He opens for us, we are walking in alignment with His plan, and that brings glory to Him. This is why we can trust that the doors God opens are always the right ones. They are the ones that lead us to growth, to deeper intimacy with Him, and to opportunities where we can be a light to others. In the end, the doors that open for us are not just about us reaching our destination. They are about us fulfilling the purpose that God has for our lives. When we walk through His doors, we are walking in the path He has prepared for us, a path that will lead to His glory and our good. Finally, we need to remember that when God opens the right door, it will be unmistakable. There is a profound sense of peace that comes with walking through a door that God has opened. You will know it is the right door because it will align with God's word. It will bring you closer to Him, and it will bring you a sense of purpose and fulfillment. It might not be easy, but there will be a confidence and assurance that God is with you, guiding you every step of the way. And when that door opens, it will open wide. No one can shut the door that God has opened for you, and no circumstance can prevent you from stepping through it. You will find that the right door opened by God is always the best one, even if it doesn't look like what you expected. God knows what you need, even when you don't. So when you face closed doors, remember that God is still at work. He is guiding you, preparing you, and leading you to the right opportunities. Do not worry, for the right door will open. Trust in God's perfect timing. Trust in His wisdom. Trust that He is always working for your good, even when the door seems closed. He is faithful. And when that door opens, step through it with confidence, knowing that God has gone before you, preparing the way, and that He is with you every step of the journey. The right door will open, and when it does, you will be ready.